welcome back to another Know How Friday video. So I'm starting with a piece of watercolor cardstock, and I have 3 different color gelatos from Faber-Castell, and I'm starting with the lightest blue, and I'm just coloring that on the top of my watercolor piece. You can see how it kind of looks like crayon, just if you're coloring with it. It's not very smooth, but we will change that in just a minute. So then I'm taking my next color, and then finally the last color, which is more of a royal blue. And I'm actually not using this whole piece. I'm going to be cutting it down a little bit, so it won't quite look like this. And then I'm spritzing that with some water. You don't need very much, just a few spritzes. And then the brush that came with my gelatos is the one that I'm going to be using, but you could use any brush for that. And then you just kind of go back and forth, and it really blends those colors together, and they turn out really nice and pretty and more like a watercolor look, I'd say. And then you can always add some more water, so I had to spritz on the bottom there a little bit more. But otherwise you can just keep brushing and keep brushing until they are blended to your desired amount. And you can always go back and add more colors if you want, or use a paper towel to kind of take off any excess that you might not want, or if you don't want it so vibrant. And then I went ahead and heat dried that just so that it was completely dried and I could move on to my next step. So now I'm taking the Stars stencil from Tim Holtz, and I'm just placing that down with some washi tape because I don't want that to move while I am applying my white embossing paste. So I have my palette knife, and I'm just going to take a little bit and cover all of the tiny stars. You can see that there's the larger stars as you go farther down, but I don't want to get any embossing paste on those. I just want the smaller stars for now. And that's also why I am doing it this way instead of having my card front the long way, just because I only want the tiny stars. And then you want to make sure you apply that smoothly so that they all look about the same color. And then go ahead and scrape off all the excess and then remove your mask. And then I let that side dry, and now I went back and placed my mask on the other side, and then I'll do the exact same thing and just take some more embossing paste and fill in all of those little stars. That's the one thing I don't really like about this mask, is I wish it was the same size stars the whole way across so that it was easier on a card front to apply like embossing paste or any ink really, because if you spray it, the ink will go into the larger stars as well. Alright, so I'll scrape off any excess and then remove my mask and then let that dry completely. So while I set that aside to dry, I took the stamp set from Paper Smooches, and I'm going to stamp the bear on a piece of Coordinations 110-pound cardstock, and I'm stamping this with my VersaFine ink because I am going to be coloring this in with some distress markers. I'm doing a little bit of a different technique than I normally do. I'm trying to use more coloring techniques and practice more with other color mediums besides Copic markers for you guys. Alright, so then I'll go ahead and color that in with my distress markers. I'm starting with the Frayed Burlap color. And then I'm moving on to add some antique linen in there, which is going to be the majority of the bear color. add in some more darker color and depth to the bear, I'm adding some gathered twigs. I wanted a little bit of darker shadows, so I went ahead and added some walnut stain marker in there. And then for the snout of the bear, I'm also coloring that in just with some antique linen because I want it to be a really light color. Alright, so I finished coloring that in and let it dry, and then I cut that out, or fussy cut that out. And then I went ahead and cut my background down, but I wanted it to be a little bit darker. The blue was a little bit too bright, so I took some Dylusions black marble and just sprayed that over the whole background. And then I'm taking a paper towel and I'm going to lay that over that just to pick up all of that excess ink. And then it's going to kind of remove it from the stars, but the stars are still going to be more blackish gray color. They're not going to be white anymore, which I like because I don't want it to stand out too much. So I'll adhere that onto my white A2 size card base with my ATG gun. And I did cut this piece down to 3 inches by 4 1/4 inches. And next I'm going to stamp my sentiment. It comes from the same paper Smooches stamp set, and it says Bear Hugs. And just to make sure that the blacks match, I'm also going to stamp that with my VersaFine ink. Go ahead and put that on my acrylic block. And then ink that up really well, and then stamp that right below where I placed the bear, even though it's not permanently placed down yet. So I'm adhering the bear down with some 3D foam squares. These are from Best Creation. They are the large foam square. So I can go ahead and remove all the little backing pieces off from that. And then I'm adhering that right above my sentiment. And then I'm taking this wood veneer from Studio Calico, and I'm just going to place a little bit of my Tombow Mono Multi-Glue on the back, and then adhere that right down right next to my sentiment. And then I'm going to cover that with some Christmas red stickles because I just wanted it to be a different color and kind of stand out a little bit on my card. The red really makes it pop. And then you want to let those stickles dry completely before you send your card off in the mail. And then that is my finished card for today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you back here next time. Bye!